Hey folks, it's Brian. We got to play RQG last night. A lot of fun, a lot of weird, not a lot of weird stuff going on, right? Because I'm trading in completely unknown land for me, with little supporting materials. So anyway, we did a minor retcon at the beginning of the game. It's in the live play, by the way, and so I had everybody make some scan rolls. Um, Ravana, who for some reason didn't show, but people were rolling for her, kind of thing. Got a critical success on a scan, so she knows some unusual tattoos on Dianth. And leans over to Dave and says, "Hey, you see those tattoos there on her hands? Those are weird. What's up with that? Do you recognize them?" And he did because he made his scan roll. And so she's got the tattoos for command and truth on the back of her hands. Sorceress tattoos, right? So, okay. And then she also recommended that they go over to the temple library, see what more information they might be able to find. Some discussion goes on, and there's discussion. We all come to realization because she handed him, excuse me, because get to the temple, you need to have an introduction or why are you here kind of thing, right? Especially get access to the library. So she wrote a note out, um, essentially granting them access to the library. And hands it to David. That's when we all realized not only do we not that we don't read Pelorian, New Pelorian, but in fact, none of us can really speak it either. But there's lots of trade talk going on here. Um, so they head on over to the temple. So David won't be able to use his own library use skill. He's got to rely on the scribes that are there. It's all a question of how much you're willing to pay and for how long. I ended up paying 3 each. Says 18 lunars over 2 days. So that's 9 scribes for 2 days. Trying to be like 36 rolls. Yeah, 36 rolls. And so David starts rolling dice. And the first day, a couple of hits. But the second day, there were, because we're looking at two different questions, something on, oh, anything on Zamoxis and anything on Lorac. And I was really hoping he was going to say something about the dragons because that ties into a whole other piece of the scenario we've been playing with earlier. Well, a separate scenario. Kind of got intermingled here. So he did. He wanted to find out more about Lorac. And so the second day, there was like 7 total hits. And so, okay, this is where Garstal, the librarian who's got a dragon fetish, gets involved. Oh, because people are talking about, hey, have you heard that? And they're looking around and he hears things. So he comes in, and of course, he's got access because he knows where certain stuff is on dragons. So he starts helping out. And they all get together afterwards and goes talking with Dave and goes, there is someone else in town who may know something. Should we go see him? And so they go down to the Dragon Inn, which I did take the dragon scenario from Sartar Companion. And this morning, because I wanted to make sure I had names of stuff out, as I'm opening the book up, at the very beginning, before the encounters section, there's a gray box on Farang Farash. I had no idea. And so I'm looking to go, maybe he would have acted a little differently. But they got me going, well, what else did I miss? There's a whole section here on the Dragon Inn with maps and stuff. Going, holy cow. Oh well. C'est la vie. So anyway, I took the pink village from Sartar Companion and essentially merged it into Marof's house. Yeah, Marof's house. You know, the wharf part of the town, right? So you got the wharf, you've got the pirates and the fishermen and all that kind of stuff going on the riverside. And then as you go further inland, you get to the actual town itself, where you've got um, Diantha and her place, and you got the temple and other businesses and stuff. There's probably some middle ground in the middle where you've got guys who play both sides of the fence. I hadn't thought about that. But anyway, so Garstall takes them to the Dragon Inn, and some of the players actually said, "Let's go to Dragon Inn while we're waiting. We're not going to do anything in the library." Oh, reminds me, Summer did go with Davin to the library, and as they're talking, like, "Oh yeah, I can speak New Pelorian," because she's fluent in all kinds of languages, right? So she helped with all that. Okay, so they get to the Dragon Inn, and they run into what is her name? Green. Yeah, her name in the companion is Green Inanga, but I called her Inanga the Green. She wears green all the time, right? That's how I get it across. And I have not bothered to transliterate any of these names, take in what's printed, and try and make them, lunar Tarshites. If I had time, I would, but class is killing me. Okay, so they come and she says, "Oh," because she recognizes Garstall and says, "Oh, you are looking for the dragon friends. They're in the back." And there was some discussion in the library even about, don't pet dragons because dragons are evil and bad, and there was the Dragon Kill War, and that still has an impact of it. Plus, there's the Super Dragon Rise just a few years ago. Yeah, don't talk about that stuff, right? It's all kind of hush hush. Oh, so they go in the back, and they meet Frank Farash and Laughing Dancer. There's some discussion going on, and I did do the whole. They start taking Old Wormish, which back here is nobody speaks Old Wormish, right? But the whole party speaks a little bit of Old Wormish now, so it's not that effect. But I did have them pull in some dragon magic kind of thing as they're talking, as Farang and Laughing Dancer are talking, and I had that whole. There's the feeling fills the room of dread, and people make scandals and rolls. I think I just told them there are folks in the front room who are booking it out the front door. In fact, Miriam. Oh, everybody had rolled their fear dragons at that point, and Miriam made her fear dragons, so she ran out. Davin and somebody else has fear dragons, but they missed theirs, so they stay. This nervous energy everyone rolls. Okay. And they talk about Lilac, and I pulled in Laughing Dancer that he had some kind of a vision when he was younger, because nothing here that I could found yet about why Laughing Dancer is going to be the Utama of Lilac, right? So, but he's not going to call himself that. He has a feeling that he needs to go, and we'll see what happens. He's not sure. He had a vision and dreams of dragons since he was young. So to make the trek out, they get there just as it's getting dark, right? And I do the whole thing where the dragon goes, barely, smoke and fire, rumble, and then he sees Laughing Dancer, and he's got his little speech that he makes. At last you have come. I have been waiting for the whole for the world to adjust to my liberation and send you. I welcome you, my Utunma. And then Laughing Dancer starts to speak in Old Wormish and does a little dance. Then he freezes, and the dragon freezes, and well, he says he probably should have said this in I should have made everybody make their Old Wormish roll, because he wouldn't have said awaken in a common language. But in Hortley he says awaken, and they both fade away. So that's kind of weird. Nobody's really ready for that. So they go in, and there's discussions on, okay, what can we take? And they seem to recall that they were told they could take one item. And so there's discussion about, okay, this is a dragon horde. What would you like that's probably here, right? So I got a list of things from the players, other things they would like. Now, it's not really a dragon horde, right, so much as a temple treasury. So I'm trying to figure things out. And something that Davin said, actually Bruce, the player, said, that probably said, well, some are going to get. Ooh, yeah, that got me thinking. So I've got some ideas for that. But anyway, while they're there, Farosh says um, that he fears that the glistening gold and glowing hoard will be the bane of many men. And so they're kind of, yeah, we need to not get too hefty. And Miriam grabs the Mostali armoring, and they come out. And when they come out, sure enough, the dwarf jumps out. Do you have the armband? Give it to me! Give it to me! And so Miriam does give it to him, and then the dwarf says something, and these 5 other dwarfs, pop up out of the area and come on over, and they are encased in some kind of iron fabric. And they have got these weird weapons they've never seen before. But one of them has a bag and opens up and starts pulling out these little bags. There's little bags. Well, he said he'd give their ransom in gold, right? Now, does the dwarf really know what everybody? No, he doesn't. He just made an estimate of 50. So there's 25 wheels in each of these bags, 500 lunars, right? And gives one to each of the players. And then off they go. So that actually closed out that whole scenario. That was pretty cool. All from a random encounter. So that's that. So instead of heading straight back to town, though, they go down to the river and they start following the river looking for the camp. They find the what are they called? Oh, while they were in town, they did spy a fellow who was following them around. And then at the end of the first night after the big festival, because that's what they're doing, walking through the festival, right, while scribes are doing stuff. He comes in to the inn because everybody's there, right? And they're all sitting. They're all, or most of them are all sitting around a table. So he comes up and he's a very soft-spoken man. And he says, hey, if you'd like, I understand that. I know that you're going after the artifact. If you'd like to get 3,000 lunars for it, and he takes out a little wooden token, puts it on the table. It's got the etching of a hound that's been burned into it. Give this to any of the guards. They will let me know. And then bring it to Dual Field, and we'll exchange. A little kind of discussion there, but he's not really saying anything else, and so he excuses himself and leaves. The party's talking about. There was some confusion on, did he want to buy it for 3,000 silver, or is he willing to sell it to us for 3,000 silver? That got all straightened out. Okay, so party down the river. They come to the camp. That's what I was looking for. What were they called? The Madakeen. The Madakeen village. These are the lion people, and it's been destroyed. Not necessarily burned down, but everything's destroyed. There are human dead bodies with Linthorax armor, boots, weapons that are laying out, and they made some scandals. They find there are actually some freshly dug graves as well. And this is right near the edge of the river, and down from the bottom is a little mud plain, right? Because the river's been receding. And there are like two or three reed boats, which have crudely carved wooden paddles in them. And they could tell there were other reed boats here as well, because you got the skid marks going out to the river, right? Now, even though the river has come down, it's still a river. It's deep. You can't just cross it here anyway, right? So they go ahead and they get in the boats. At this point, one of my players is reaching his limit because he's had a lot of late nights and he's getting wiped out. And it's after 11 at this point, I think. And I said, well, we can just stop here. And he said, no, I can go a little further. I go, okay, let's leave out. Somebody mentioned about a cliffhanger. Okay, we got it. You get in your boats, you go out in the river. The river water around the boat starts to rise up. Fish start flashing all around, jumping and splashing. And in front of them rises up this tall woman of supernatural beauty who says, "Stay your journey, travelers. I would have words with you." She's gracefully built with green skin, her naked body is draped in river weeds. A wild mane of mud-colored hair is tangled about her head and shoulders. Her black, fish-like eyes regard the characters intensely. And that's where we ended it. So we're back on the scenario that we left for in the first place. Happy gaming.